Vampires are exceptionally good at seeing long distances, and they are unmatched in their abilities to see at night. At least, Michael guessed as much. He honestly had no clue. In fact, he was the only vampire he knew at present. He had only ever known a single other vampire, and even that was just long enough to learn her name, Elizabeth, that she'd been responsible for turning him, and to explain to him the very basics of what he was now. And basic it was. She'd told him what not to do in order not to die, and that he would need blood to survive. Oh, and that he was practically immortal outside of the few ways it was possible for him to perish now. And that had been it. Off she'd gone, leaving behind a very confused, very frightened, and very naive 21-year-old. So to say that Michael didn't know one way or the other if vampires were unmatched in their nocturnal visual acuity wouldn't have been too far from the truth. So to think that a couple of miles off, sitting on an isolated cliff face in the middle of the woods, might be another vampire? Well, that intrigued Michael. The idea that this lone figure might be another being like him wasn't outside of the realm of possibility. It was unlikely, but unlikely didn't mean impossible. It would certainly account for the man's strange abilities to appear and disappear. It also checked the box of never arriving before sunset and always leaving before sunrise. Michael had spent the better part of his observation time just trying to build up the courage to pay the man a visit. He didn't really have many friends these days. He didn't have any, to be honest. Friendship was now a complicated issue, and Michael had thought it wise to avoid extraneous complicated matters. He had enough to deal with. By avoiding relationships, Michael had inadvertently turned himself into somewhat of an introvert, which was unnatural for him. He'd become a hermit in his little fortress on the mountain. He hadn't been like that before, especially after losing his family. When that had happened, he'd surrounded himself with friends, daily, hourly even, doing his best to make more on an almost weekly basis. Doing so helped bury the pain of the loss he'd endured. But then entered the vampire Elizabeth, and things had changed for him, irrecoverably so. And not long after that, friends became a luxury Michael didn't think he could afford. Nanook and Thorn wagged their tails as Michael sat, his now empty bottle of courage, on the banister, pulled back his dark hair into a ponytail, and stood up. He wobbled just a little. Sometimes courage comes with a price. Not right now, guys. We'll go for a walk when I get back. I promise. At the word walk, both dogs began to prance and bounce around. Michael smiled and rubbed each dog's head. I won't be long, he said. I hope. Michael looked down to his yard below, and then out over the dark forest leading to Humpback. Go. Just go. Go, go, go. I'm drunk. You're buzzed, tipsy at best. Now go. Michael took a deep breath, concentrated for a moment, took 2 long strides, and leapt over the balcony railing. He soared into the cool summer breeze, taking large gulps of fresh air in an effort to clear his head. Yep, I'm drunk.